Greetings to you all. This lecture is on Introduction to Programming in C, given by Dr. B. Prabavathy, Associate Professor, Department of CSE from SSN College of Engineering, Chennai. This video lecture includes Introduction to Programming, Problem Solving, and online demo of the solution. Before we solve any problem, let's understand first what is computer. Computer is basically a machine which is useful for performing computational task. Okay, what is task? Task is sequence of instructions. Suppose if the task is addition of two numbers. So how will you give this instruction to computer? Hey computer, add 2 and 3 for me, like that. If you give such an instruction, computer will not be able to understand. So what computer can understand? The computer can understand only low level language, or which is written in binaries, zeros and ones. What is low level language? In low level language, everything will be represented by sequence of bits. For example, if I want to give an instruction, add 4 and 5, then I have to give sequence of bits to perform this instruction. For example, for add, if I give this sequence of bits, for 4, this sequence of bits, for 5, this sequence of bits. Okay, so this is actually an instruction for me in low level language in order to perform what? Addition of two numbers, which is 4 and 5. But for a program developer, it is very difficult to remember the sequence of the binary sequence for operations, binary sequence for the data and so on. So it is very difficult for the programmer to write a program using low level language, but the computer can understand. What is high level language? In high level language, the same thing can be easily accomplished by x is equal to a plus b, where a holds 4 and b holds the value 5. It's very simple for anyone to understand. So for the programmer also, it is very easy to write an instruction. So easy to understand the program. But the computer cannot understand this. Okay, so let it be this way. So low level language, difficult to understand, write a program, but computer can understand. High level language, easy for the programmer to understand and write the program, but computer cannot understand. Okay, let it be. Now if I which one you will choose as a programmer to communicate with computer? We will choose only high level language. Okay, so how do we learn the high level language? So like natural language, like for example, if I want to learn Telugu, I need to know a series of alphabets used in that language, and also of course the grammar involved in order to make a meaningful statement in that particular language. Similarly, in order for me to understand high level language and to write a program, I need to study or understand character set, operators, keywords, statements. Okay, so now programmer is comfortable with high level language, but the computer is what? Computer is comfortable with low level language. So now who is going to translate this high level language into low level language? A compiler is there. So programmer need not worry, he can write the program in high level language, and there is a compiler which is going to convert that high level language into binary language so that a computer can understand, right? So now, which high level language I'm going to use to communicate with computer? Like, for example, we take India. In India, there are a lot of languages. Which language you will choose to communicate with someone? Supposing I born in Tamil Nadu, so I know Tamil, and if I want to communicate with any person who is from Tamil Nadu, I can communicate with them using Tamil language. Similarly, supposing if I want to communicate with the people who knows Hindi, then I need to have some understanding of Hindi to communicate with them. So there are some standard languages which are available in India or worldwide, like that. So that language you will be using. Similarly, in order to communicate with computer, there are a lot of standard languages which we need to use in order to communicate with computer. Now in this course, we are going to see programming language, which is C. Okay. So before we understand what is C programming language in detail, we'll see history of C. C language was developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at Bell Laboratories. Actually, this C language is a successor of B language. So what B language was doing? B language was used for developing kernel of the Linux. When it is being used for that purpose, they had some limitation, and that's when the C language was developed in order to overcome that limitation. So later on, this C language became very popular and powerful, and it's being used for developing a lot of other softwares also. Some of the software which are developed using C are Unix operating system, Oracle, core libraries of Android OS, main portions of web pages, and device drivers. So it's interesting, right? So this is very powerful language which we are going to study in this course. Okay. So till now, what we understood what is computer, how do we communicate with computer, and now we'll take one problem statement or a task, which is electricity bill calculation. Let us assume this scenario where your father always call you and ask you to calculate electricity bill every month, and you don't want to do it because repetitively you're going to do the same, and so you want to give this task to computer and you want to solve it using computer. Okay, so what is the problem statement? The problem statement is basically you need to give the number of units consumed, and the output is going to be the total electricity bill amount. The tariff is this. What is the tariff? For 1 to 100 units, it's going to be 10 units. I mean 10 rupee. 100 to 200, it's going to be 15, and so on. Okay. So this is the for the given tariff and the given number of units consumed, you have to calculate the electricity bill amount. This is the problem statement. Okay. Once the problem statement is with us, or a task to be computed is with us, what we need to do? We have to write a procedure to solve this problem. Okay, so the next step is to develop a procedure to solve the problem. What is the first step? We need to read the number of units consumed. Okay, that is fine. What is the next step? Next step, what is the logic behind it? Supposing if you give let's say 70 units. Okay, this 70 units is what? It is less than or it is between 100, right? 1 to 100. So you just multiply 70 by 10, you will have 700. This is the bill amount. Supposing if you are giving 170, if the number of units consumed is 170, then for the first 100 units, it's going to be 100 into 10. For the remaining unit is what? 170 minus 100, which is going to be 70. For the 70 units, you will be having 15. So this is the logic, right? So this is how manually we will calculate the electricity bill. So see, for the units which is less than 200, for the first 100 units, you are having 10 rupees. For the remaining units, how are you computing remaining units? The units minus this 100. Why you are subtracting this? Because this 100 I have already considered. Okay, so units minus 100 will give me the remaining units. The remaining units is 70, and into 15. 15 is the tariff, right? The amount for this range of units. So this way we can do for this kind of statement calculations. You can write for every other tariff also. So you have step 2, step 3. For the other tariff 200 to 300, we have the step 4, and for the remaining step 5, and finally we will be printing the bill amount. Okay, so this is the procedure to solve the problem. To solve the problem, in the sense, we have to find out the electricity. I mean, we have to calculate the bill amount. That is what is the output that we want. Okay, we have written a procedure for this. Now, how do we know that this procedure will give me a correct output for the given number of units consumed? For that, we need to trace the procedure. Okay, we have to basically take the procedure and we have to use an input. For example, we'll consider, let's say 270. Okay, so read the number of units 270, and go to the second step. Check whether 270 is less than or equal to 100. It is not. Okay, so it comes to third step, and check whether 270 is less than or equal to 200. No, it is not satisfied. The condition is not satisfied. So comes to fourth step. In fourth step, 270 is less than or equal to 300. Yes, the condition is true. In this case, the amount calculation follows this. Okay, what is that? For 270, for the first 100, it is going to be 10 rupees. So 1000. For the next 100, it's going to be 15 rupees. Sorry, 15 rupees. So it's going to be 1500. For the remaining units, because you have considered all 200 units, the remaining units, how do you consider, calculate to remaining units minus 200. Why 200? Because 200 units are already considered for amount calculation. So remaining units is 70. Now for the 70 remaining unit, we have to use the tariff 20. So we'll have 1400. So sum all these things. That is what we are doing, say, plus, and here also plus. So 3900. So this is the amount. This is the amount for the input 270. So when you calculate manually also, you will get the same. For this input, you will get. So this procedure, when you give this input and trace this procedure, you are getting the same output of what we manually calculate. Okay. So now we can understand that the procedure is giving the how the procedure is working by tracing the input. By tracing the procedure with an input, we are able to understand how the procedure is working. Okay. So now what is the next step? The next step is basically to convert this procedure into a program in the required language. What is this course? This course is about C programming language. So we need to convert this procedure into the program using C statements. Now, since this is the first course, forget about the statements. Now I'm going to show you the online demo of how this code is going to work. Okay. So now I'm going to stop share this presentation, and I will share you the open source ripple.it, which I'm going to use it to solve the problem, where I'm going to share that. Okay, I think you're able to see the screen, hopefully. So in this code, if you look at, just forget about all the syntax, all those things, because I told you that this is first lecture. In the remaining lectures only, we'll be studying about all the statements. Just to have the flavor of how the code works, we are actually writing, giving the program. I'm actually giving the program, but in later classes, we will be developing the program. We will discuss and develop the program. Okay, fine. So if you look at this fifth and sixth statement, this is used for getting the input, and these statements or if statements, right? So the 29 statement is used to print the amount. In between that, you have logic. If the unit is less than or equal to 100, then the amount calculation is this way. And supposing if this condition is not satisfied, then this condition is going to be checked. What condition? Units less than or equal to 200 is going to be checked. And if this condition is satisfied, the amount calculation is going to follow 13 and 14th statement. If the condition in 11 fails, then the condition in 16 is going to be satisfied. In case if it is satisfied, it is checked, and in case if it is satisfying, then the amount calculation follows the statement 18, 19, and 20, and so on. Okay. And what is the output? If you run the code, give 270, and the answer is 3900. Oh, okay, fine, super. So now you are able to see how the code works. Okay. So now what we have taken a problem statement, we have written a procedure, and we have traced the procedure to see whether it will work properly, and then we have converted into the program in C language, and we have executed, and we saw the output. Okay. So since this is the first lecture, actually I'm not asking you to write the program, and I brought the program and showed you how the program is working. But in further lectures, okay, how I'm going to plan is, we will look at a particular statement or particular group of statement, for example, conditional statement or looping statement, whatever it is, and we'll take a suitable statement, suitable problem to solve, and we will together develop procedure, and we will trace the procedure with an input to understand more on how to develop a logic, and we will together develop the code in the C programming language, and then we will execute the code and realize the realize how the code is working. I hope you can enjoy this course. Every lecture is going to be this way. I think you can enjoy it. Thank you for listening my lecture.